This is Giants Live TV. Welcome to tonight's show, presented by Jimmo Billiard, with Paul Bolt, Arid Lorne, and the Schoolboy. Welcome to Dogs Dangley's TV. Welcome to this week's show, which comes from our brand new home of the Castle Public House, right next door to the NIC. We'll be looking back at the weekend's games, the one against Sheffield and of course the one away at Braehead. We'll also be talking to Chris Ellis about Team GB in Latvia, and we'll be looking ahead to the Scottish weekend. But first, it's Paul Baum with the news.
I'm Paul Baum, and this is the news. Nielsen Infinity discussed Friday's game. Braehead players congratulate McChesney on lasting a whole match. After weekend's debacle, Steelers scrap plans to launch their own airline. Thanks, Scooby. And that was the news.
We'll look back at the game against the Clan a little later, but first we'll take a look at the game against Sheffield. Excellent win on Friday night.
Yeah, it was. To be fair, I don't think we played great the first couple of periods, especially the first one. I think we looked nervous, to be honest. I can remember talking to a few people sat around where I sit, and we sort of all had the same opinion that we just came out and, you know, just the things weren't dropping for us, and we didn't look comfortable on the puck, and we just looked a little bit worried about how the game might go. But overall, you know, we won, and that was the main thing. So yeah, very pleasing.
I think you're right. We did. I think I tweeted something very much the same during the first period, that we did look nervous. Sheffield looked confident,
yeah,
and I think they'll be ruined the fact that they didn't convert more of their chances in the first period. And it could have been worse as well, because from where I was sitting, that shot by Simon Ferguson went in, it hit the back bar and came back out.
I don't know, well, you sit just a little bit further around from me, don't you? So you've probably got a better angle on that. But decisions like that, you know, if that decision went for Sheffield, then the game could have been completely different, and, you know, we could have been looking at a different result. But like we've said on previous episodes, those sort of decisions, they seem to even themselves out over a season, and you've just not got to let those decisions affect your game plan, and you've got to keep playing the same way, which Sheffield did, and played the same way, and that's why they lost, maybe.
Quick word for their opening goal by Danny Myers. He took it well, to be fair.
He did, but you know, he got through the one-on-one. They pulled Fox out of position. Should have showed a little bit, I guess, you know, that he's not really a defenseman. So he got slightly suckered, but I think we'll let him off. But we'll get to that later. But you know, Danny took it well. But you know, he should be used to shooting at K-Wall. He should know the thing. But yeah, a good goal.
Before we look at the Panthers goals, an incident that happened in the second period with Chris Frank cross-checking Matthew Myers right in the face, and then giving him a few digs while he was down for good measure. Yeah,
well, you know, kick them while they're down. Why don't you? Yeah, it's not nice to see. I guess we'll see what, you know, the Elite League do, and well, I suppose it all depends whether Panthers decide to take it further. I mean, that's the first thing you've got to ask, and we'll find that out in the next few days, I imagine. But then if they do, and I hope they do, because, you know, you don't want to see that in the game. Look what happened, and I know we'll talk about, you know, obviously refer back to the Wilson Ferguson at Sheffield, and how the Sheffield as a club and as a supporters were going after Wilson, etc., and said that he should be hung and everything like that. Let's just hope that Mr. Frank gets the treatment that deserves as well. So.
I mean, I thought it was. I said it at the time. I thought that's shocking. I thought he should have been chucked out of the game. I was surprised he only got a 2+2 for it. I hope Panthers do review it. However, it's not something we are known to do.
It's not, but at the end of the day, you did it. And there'll be people who'll say, "Oh, you're only doing it because you're in the title race, because of this, because that." It doesn't matter if it's the first minute of the first pre-season friendly or the last minute of the playoff final. He cross-checked him in the face. That's a penalty. As well as cross-checking in the face, if you watch the video, just before that, he actually appears to try and spear him in the face, and I think sort of just hits him in the shoulder. So, if we don't send it in, he's going to be a very lucky boy, I think.
He was like that all game, though, wasn't he? Really, Frank. He was niggling after. I mean, I know we've talked about Sheffield in the past, but him especially, and Ferguson, they were niggling and obviously trying to wind us up and get us off our game. But that just took it too far, didn't it? Really. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Let's look at the goals that Panthers scored now. The first one. Beautiful setup, yeah. Bruce Graham for the finish.
Graham, really,
it was
it?
Really, yeah.
Yeah, he's done it so many times this season. A little bit more at the back post, but yeah, classic Graham. Great move from Panthers.
Second one, very, very similar. Again, one touch passing. David Ling again with the setup, straight onto Gallagher's stick, and he finished it beautifully.
Yeah, I mean the thing that that connects first, second, and the fourth goal is the passing. It's so fast. We were moving the puck about. One touch passing, moving it quickly, and they couldn't cope with us. And each, we got a man spare. Bosh, as they say.
And then, well, let's do the fourth goal. Left Bosh. I thought they were a power tool company. Black and Decker. There we go. Just
other power tools are available.
I think we'll talk about the fourth goal first, Brandon Benedict's, because it just seemed to come out of nowhere, only 22 seconds after the third goal. And he took that well, but I think De Caro, by then, his head was down by his knees.
Yeah, it's that's the kind of goal that Benedict's been scoring of late as well, hasn't he? He seems to be in the right place at the right time, but I think, like you say, at that point, especially with the third goal, I think that just totally deflated Sheffield, and I think by then they knew that they were beaten, and it was just a case of, could we score more goals? Did we want to score more goals? Obviously, we didn't want to waste too much energy because we had a big game on the Saturday. But yeah, I'm pleased for Benedict because he works so hard in every game and every shift, and he's scoring goals for fun at the moment. So yeah, it was a good goal.
And then, of course, the highlight, which was Jordan Fox's fabulous third goal, and it was a fabulous goal.
Oh, it was. I mean, he picked it up just over, practically on our own blue line, skated through, I think it was 3-4, Sheffield players. And normally with goals like that, it's normally, a bullet into the top corner. But he just put the move on De Caro and left him sat on his backside as he just, literally just tapped it in to the net. But I think that's why the fourth went in, because De Caro was still getting dressed.
Well, I mean, there are reports that apparently he went to Belfast without his shorts because Jordan Fox just undressed him out of them. But it was a fabulous goal.
Yeah, I think somebody tweeted saying it. If you wanted to know what it was like Ryan Giggs against Aston Villa in the FA Cup tie, which I think was you. Was that you that tweeted that?
It wasn't. No, God, I wouldn't tweet that. It was Anton Marriage, friend of the show. My other half was she totally disagreed with that. She vehemently disagreed with that. She wasn't happy, but then again, she wouldn't be.
I think yeah, it's true. I think Fox had been trying to do that as well. You can go into the fact that Fox has been playing on D for a lot of the season, and yes, he's not as comfortable there as what he is up, on the forward line. But at the end of the day, he's done a fabulous job over the season to give us that on D. And I think in the last few games, especially, you can see that he's wanted to go forward. He's wanted to do that little skate out, and we all know that he's got the skill, and he possesses the ability to do that. And it was even better that it was against Sheffield that he did it.
Okay, so I think we'll leave that one there. Braehead on Saturday night, and we were out and we were looking at Twitter, and I think we was expecting it to be a lot harder than it was, but it was just, oh, okay, fair enough, we've won 5-0.
Yeah, I've seen, looking at the highlights, I've seen sponge cakes that were a lot harder than that was. well. But I mean, yeah, having watched the highlights, I mean, you've got Braehead have put together their own highlights, and I think they managed 2-3 attacks in the whole 5 minutes, and that says everything you need to know. It was a demolition, frankly.
I mean, I was expecting that to be a potential banana skin, especially after putting everything into the night before against Sheffield, then having to travel up to Scotland, up to Glasgow, play that game against what should be a difficult team, but I think they're really flattered to deceive this season, Braehead.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned that, in a few episodes ago, didn't we? That so much was expected of them this season, and they just haven't delivered. It's looking at the highlights, it just seemed comfortable at the end of the day. It doesn't look like we had to break out into too much of a sweat. I mean, when you watch the highlights, the atmosphere there is just, you can hear a pin drop. You can even hear people, asking for the puck and stuff like that, and you shouldn't really be able to hear that in an ice hockey game.
It can be like that over there at times, to be fair.
I'll rephrase that. You can sometimes hear that in an ice hockey game, especially at the NIC. No, but yeah, it could have been a banana skin, but I think, the word that you look for and people might use is professional. We did a professional job. It could have been a banana skin, sorry, but it wasn't. We did it. We played the game. We obviously, scored early, and that can quieten the crowd. And yeah, look, like we mentioned before, Braehead, they're just not the team that everybody thought it was. And I think, just a quick word on Braehead, you can expect changes there in the post and pre-season, because so much is going to be expected of them again next season. And if they don't deliver, then, they've obviously got problems. But yeah, professional job by the Panthers, and a good 2 points on the back of, Friday's result and performance.
Okay. Well, thanks for the moment, guys. Of course, Great Britain 3 weeks ago played in Latvia in Olympic qualifier. Didn't do too well, but we managed to catch up with Ice Hockey UK's media manager, Chris Ellis, see what he thought. So, Chris, 2 weeks since the tournament, you've had time to reflect on it. What are your thoughts now?
Well, it was a fabulous tournament in terms of coverage-wise. Obviously, the boys played their heart out. I don't think anyone who was there would have seen how hard they tried, how much commitment they gave for their country. On that side, it was fabulous. I mean, they had some unlucky bounces. There were obviously top teams, but it was fabulous in that term. Maybe Kazakhstan, they perhaps should have got a better result, but obviously it wasn't to be. But no, in terms of how hard the guys tried and how much commitment they gave to their cause, it was just fabulous. And being around the team, you saw that and how much it meant to them this tournament. But in terms of from a media point of view, it was unrivaled. I mean, I got on the train on the Tuesday to go to Sheffield for the training camp for the final game, the warm-up game, and obviously I knew this article was going to be in the Times with Tony Hammond. I never kind of dreamt that it'd be a full-page spread, sort of 5 from the back, and that kind of started off. I read that and thought, I thought we might end up with a column. And ended up this journalist gave us a full-page spread, and obviously it was a snowball effect from there, and just the coverage was phenomenal. The amount of media outlets that were interested in the team.
Talking of the media coverage, there was obviously live games on ESPN. There was live coverage on Radio 5 Sports Extra. How much bigger profile does that give? And looking to the future, will that sort of coverage continue?
Well, I mean, the key thing about this one was the Olympic word. I mean, that was the big sell on this tournament. It was the Olympic. It was qualifying for the Winter Olympics, and that's obviously the sudden upturn in media interest. And may I just say that the media out there were fantastic. You'd got Aaron Murphy and David Sims working for ESPN. For the BBC, you got Seth Bennett and Mike O'Connor on the commentary. A gentleman called Nick Hope came back and provided lots of features for online. So that got us to a massive audience. And because of that audience and all those people out there, some of them obviously involved in hockey before, some kind of for their first time. But all of those people out there liked what they saw and liked the national team and liked the accessibility. I mean, we as a team gave accessibility to everyone. So those journalists were allowed to come down to the room and do pieces, and obviously, whatever they asked for, they got, because, as much coverage as we could give the national team, we could, and that, as much coverage we could give them, we wanted. But as I say, the knock-on effect from that is ahead of the future. Is BBC and ESPN are interested in now coming to the World Championships. There's lots of discussions got to be had about how and when, if a deal can be reached. But certainly both broadcasters would be interested in doing something for the future, and that can only help grow the sport.
Looking at the team itself and the results in particular, it was a disappointing set of results. We didn't get a point. However, we look into the World Championship now. Is promotion to Pool A a possibility, or is it still? Do we still need some work?
There needs to be work to be done, but what this tournament has done, it's been a warm-up for the World Championships. Normally Great Britain wouldn't have this, but they've had 3 games in Japan in November. They've had 3 games now in Latvia. Well, that's the best preparation they've ever had for a World Championship, and I think, deep down, everyone involved in the GB programme dared to dream that a chance to go to Sochi was possible. But realistically, it would have been, one of the biggest ever upsets, to beat an 11th seed, with GB being 21. So it was always going to be a long shot. But, those boys generally believed that there was a chance, which is very, very, I admire that. But it's going back to the original point, basically, it is brilliant preparation for the World Championships, because they've just played 3 nations that are above them. They won't come up against a team as good as Latvia in the World Championships. They'll come up against Kazakhstan again. Of course, they'll come up against Hungary and Japan and those teams. But these teams they're more closely matched to. And with the top 2 going up, there's every possibility that they could, get into Pool A. So, yeah, there's a very good chance if they get the right preparation. The squad will probably meet the Monday after the playoff finals weekend. They'll spend some time together. They'll fly out before their first game, a couple of days before, I guess. And if they get the right preparation and get prepared, there is no reason why they can't take on these big nations.
Great. Obviously, looking ahead, and international breaks next season, what are the chances of those being adhered to and the team either getting together for training camps or actually playing other nations?
It's tough. I mean, those are discussions that, I'm not partial to, but I know, I think there is a bit on both sides, and on both sides I'm saying the Elite League and the national team, because that's the problem. You've got Elite League owners who need for their businesses, their barns to be full on a Saturday or a Sunday night, depending on what their preferable day is. But at the same time, you've got a national team that needs preparation to get ready for big events. And let's be honest, a more successful national team will lead to greater exposure for the sport, as we've seen with the Olympics. Think of the coverage going into the qualifiers. Well, imagine if GB had got to the Olympics, it just would have been on the back pages, it would have been everywhere. So it's certainly something that I know people within the sport, within Ice Hockey UK, within the Elite League, it's being talked about, but it's how. I think David Sims came up with an idea out there. He may have even talked about it publicly, saying, how about it if, maybe just once a month, perhaps on a Monday or a Tuesday, the squad gets together. Other people have talked about a 2-day camp, maybe every 6 to 8 weeks. And if you want my personal view, I think it's important to find a way to get that national team to meet, whether it be, it could be different. Manchester 1 month, Nottingham another, Sheffield another, perhaps go up to Scotland another time. It's important to get that national programme going, and not necessarily kind of matching the Olympic breaks when they happen across Europe, maybe more so just having their own camps, so the coaching staff can work on certain things, however often they can. So I think that's important. There's people around both tables that want that to happen, but it's not something you can click your fingers and do. So it's something that will need a lot of work, but you just never know.
So just finally, about your own media work with the team, is that set to continue?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got to say, I was honoured, absolute privilege to go to Latvia, with my country. I was so honoured to go on the trip. And now, obviously, I've kind of officially taken on the role as Ice Hockey UK press officer, which also includes the men's side. In fact, it includes all sides, so from under 20s, under 18s and women. So also in that role is trying to help to grow that side of things. That's kind of a different role entirely. But yeah, so next stop Hungary, it'd be the same again. Tweets galore, bombarding the press galore as well, because obviously part of the job is to, within 20 minutes of the game, get a press release out to probably my 250 media contacts from various local papers, national papers, which obviously gets more coverage with the GB programme. There's so much more to do. We're talking about launching a GB Ice Hockey UK YouTube channel, so just a bit like a cat's whiskers, bringing,
no competition.
So it would be great for when we're out there, starting in Hungary. Very much hope that we should sort something so we can, not only bring you interviews, which we have done in terms of podcasts and radio, but give you some behind the scenes footage as well. So watch this space with that one. So there's some good support within Ice Hockey UK for growing the media side of things, and it's very exciting at the moment, Johnny.
Chris, thanks for your time.
No,
as ever.
pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
No, lovely.
Cheers.
I'm David Alexander Beauregard. You're watching Cat Whiskers TV.
Thoughts of Chris Ellis there on the tournament. It has to be said, and I was very, very surprised, is the amount of interest that tournament created.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, Chris alluded to it there. Fantastic coverage from the sports point of view, which is what we need. And all I can say with that is hopefully that's just a springboard. Yes, the results didn't go our way, and we didn't get the result that we wanted. But hopefully that there's people out there now that have got a little bit of taste of ice hockey, in GB, and hopefully that can continue into the Worlds in April. So yeah, only positive. I think the outcomes out of it can be positive.
How do we keep the momentum up?
It's a good question.
I'll give you the difficult one.
Again, yeah. I think what they need to do, because they've got that base built. Like I say, it was trending on Twitter, so must be good. But I think what they've got to do is try and engage with the fans, which is going to be a problem for them, I think, because it seems at the moment that watching GB a lot of the time is a rich man's activity, because you have to go abroad. So I mean, you can probably count on on one hand the number of times I've seen GB in this country. And they need that. How they get that, I don't know. But they've got to draw people in with them. They've got to, if we can use buzzwords, take them on a journey. With them. They've got them in. They've got them in for the Olympics, and they've done well from that. I think, like Chris said, it was that word Olympics that's got them in. With what happened 2012. This happening, it's happened at the perfect time for them. So, the Worlds, a lot of people, they'll say, it's not as big a thing. I mean, in a lot of ways it is, but they've got to try and get more people into it. I think, to then take them forward and arrange some games, in this country, and play in places that don't normally see a GB game. Take them to Hull, play there. Take them to Scotland. Even if what you do is you split. You have a larger group of players, and you split them. So it's England, Scotland. You play England, Scotland. You go to Braehead, you'll get people in. And look at it that way, and get people from where they don't just watch the clubs, and GB's a distraction. To the same way it is with football for a lot of people. They support their club and their country. It's no easy task, though. It's like that question.
No.
I thought you did well, though. Well done, Paul.
I had no clue what I was saying. Not a clue.
It can only be a good thing, though, that they've had this exposure and they've played these two qualifying tournaments. Yep. It will set them up well for the Worlds, and I know Chris said the same thing. It really will set them up well for the World Championships in April.
Yeah, and I think a few of the players actually said that from their experiences, they can take that now into the Worlds, so that they'll be a little bit more aware of how these things go around, these big qualifying tournaments, the pressure that they might be under, then, like I said, it can only be positive. And I think, from where we've been, 5 years ago to where we are now as Team GB, we've come a long way, and there's still a long way to go, obviously, but steps have been taken, and the team and the players have taken their own steps, and hopefully, they can carry on the journey which Paul mentioned to success. So yeah, it can only be a good thing.
Okay. Well, going off a completely different tangent, it's time for the Students Quickfire quiz with our contestant Andy Haywood.
Hold on to your hats. It's time for the Students Quickfire questions. That's if he can get out of bed, of course. Let's find out about this week's contestants.
Andy, you are facing the Students Quickfire questions this week. Got 30 seconds on the clock, please. Time starts now. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
The Egg.
Favourite NHL team?
Rangers.
Wrong. Yes or no, Hull is the most versatile arena?
Yes.
Obviously. Pot noodle or beans on toast?
Beans on toast.
Craig Holland, Boris Johnson's love child or not?
Yes.
Have you ever put a Caramac underneath a squirrel?
No.
Favourite NHL player?
Rick Nash at the moment.
Wrong. Yes or no, could Robert Farmer fight his way out of a paper bag?
Yeah.
No. Andy, thank you for facing the Students Quickfire questions this week.
Join us next time for more Student Quickfire questions. You know you want to.
We're going to have a look at the title race now. First question, I suppose, is do you now feel Sheffield are out of it?
Yes, I do, and that's not just me saying that as a Panthers fan. I think, if you asked a Sheffield fan and they really, thought about it and looked at the points difference, I could be totally wrong with my maths here. I am no Carol Vorderman, but I think it worked.
No, you're not. Not even the Rachel Riley.
I think it worked out that we'd have to lose something. We'd have to lose like 9 points, and they'd have to win every game. And when you look at the amount of points that we've dropped, over the season, we are realistically not going to not drop that many points. So I think you can safely say that Sheffield are out. They'll still have a big say in where it goes, but I think they are out of it. I think it's a 2-horse race now.
Yeah, same opinion for you, Paul?
Probably. Anything can happen. But I mean, realistically, they'll say, well, ever there's a mathematical chance, but there's a heck of a lot of difference between a mathematical chance and a realistic chance, as Carol Vorderman would tell you. But they'll have an effect. So don't count them out completely.
Okay. Looking at Belfast, because Belfast are obviously now 2 points behind. We do have a game in hand on them, of course, but since the revelations about Belfast came out, they've been pretty much unstoppable.
I mean, I can remember being on Twitter when they played Cardiff last night, I believe it was, and within something like 36 seconds they were 2-0 down, and then you think, Jesus, this could actually be good, and you see a few Panthers people tweeting saying, oh yeah, here we go, great result, carry it on Devils for Panthers Nation and stuff like that. But the fact that they came back and won that game shows you that they are champions. They are the champions, and they obviously don't want to let that title go without a fight. And those kind of comebacks in those, in that arena, which is, we've always said, is, Cardiff's a difficult place to go. Yeah, we've also mentioned that Cardiff are a team that you don't know what's going to turn up, but to go 2-0 down after such a short amount of time, but then to come back and fight back and to win that game shows you that they are going to be there down to the wire. They're not going to give it up without a fight, and they'll be strong till the end, and that's why we just need to make sure that we don't give it up. Really, it's ours to lose at the end of the day.
I think for Belfast, their new signing, Chad Langlaise, I think it is. A lot of people wrote him off when he was signed, saying, this shows how the well is dry. But he's been an absolute revelation for them. I think got 2+2 last night, and from what I was hearing, one of the goals he scored was as good as what Fox scored on Friday night. So they've got that ability within the squad.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the comments that were coming out were the same ones that people were making about Eric Werner at the start of the season. Oh, he's a bit small, isn't he? He hasn't played at a very good level. And look how good he's been. But I think if you look at the teams that are up there this year, there's no real stars in them. You know, we've often been accused of having, you know, a big star and, you know, and lesser people. But you look, we've got a real team ethic going. But just please don't make the next question asking me if I'm confident.
All right, I'll leave that. We'll move on to the weekend then. How's that?
No,
Are you confident?
Of course not. But see, if you'd have asked me about 10:30, 11 o'clock Saturday night when I'd had one or two of these, I'm not.
You're not proud of it, are you?
You were the one on the table dancing. Then you know we'd had a good result in Braehead. We'd had two good results. Sheffield had two bad results.
And more than 2 pints.
So you'll get on the table for less. Then I was more confident, shall we say? And then last night they both, like Aaron was saying, Cardiff went 2-0 up, Dundee went a goal up, and you think, yeah, and then here we go again, slid back, and you think, they're a bit closer again now. It's a bit, so I'm not quite as confident as I was, but still a lot of hockey to play. Move on.
Well, yeah, of course it does. I mean, the thing is, we've just basically got to keep winning games, which is what we're doing. And what better than this weekend with 3 games in Scotland? Seamless.
Seamless. I couldn't even see a sewing machine in sight. It's another tough weekend, though. I know we've said that, but it's through the fact of, yes, we're playing lesser opposition. No disrespect, but just the fact of 3 games in 3 nights. Look at Sheffield had that, and they came unstuck over that weekend. And I know that we're 2 different teams, but it can affect you. You only need a bad result, and then you're trying to put that right with the next result. If that goes wrong, then you've got one last chance. I honestly just can't. I can't see us having a bad weekend, as in the sense of, yes, we might lose 1 game out of that, but who honestly expects us to win every game now from now until the end of the season? I'm quite positive about the fact that I think we will win the league, but I'm not so cocksure to say that yes, we're going to win every game and we are going to trounce everybody else, because that's not how it is. It's not on any given day a team can beat another team in the league. So, but I just think we will have a good weekend, and I think that will be because I think obviously we play the second leg of the Challenge Cup tomorrow night as we film this, Monday night. And that, I think we'll go through on that. I think that, and then it just builds confidence. It builds fact, and you're going in, and it's now getting to that point in the season where, it's there. It's in touching distance, and I just can't see, like Paul just mentioned about the work ethic of this team. I think they see it and they just want to go and grab it, and I can't see them actually letting that slip through their fingers, to be honest. So I do see it being a good weekend for us.
Looking at the games, we've got Dundee on Friday, Fife on Saturday in a hostile barn that's never easy, and then the final game is Edinburgh on the Sunday. And they've been doing very well at home. They beat Coventry at home on Sunday. When you're tired and you've probably had 2 difficult games, that's not the place you want to be going to play a game.
Well, it's not, and I think, like Karen said, obviously we want to come out this with 6 points if we can, but I'll take 4. I'm not saying which of the games will drop, because I don't do predictions, but I know I can see us dropping one somewhere, but we've got that slight cushion. It takes it a bit further, but we know we're not going to walk away with it from here if we do. But and that's it's not like, that's one of the bonuses of the conference system. This time with this time last year, Dundee, Fife, and Edinburgh, what were they playing for? Realistically, a playoff spot, But now anybody could, they could come out second seeds in the playoff. Any of them, you know. It's,
1 point between that conference from top to bottom. That's phenomenal.
it is. I mean, it's just. Excuse me. He wasn't supposed to come back.
Talk amongst yourselves.
You were supposed to come back to me. What were you saying anyway? How close it is? Yeah, it is. And that's a lot of people, me included, doubted the conference system at the start of the season, but it's
worked.
It's worked. It's worked. I think more for the Scottish teams. I'm still a bit worried for Hull because but that's why they're doing so well with their webcast. Because they're on, the outer limit of that group. There's a lot of people, because there's, when we spoke to Gary Moran, he wasn't that keen on the idea of things. But the way I look at it is, you sort of think, I'm not going to spend all that money going down to Hull. It's from where we live, it's a long way, but it's only £8 to watch it on the telly. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. They're not really, Hull aren't really losing that much in revenue for especially for the games against the rest of the conference, because those teams won't have that many people travelling. So those that are going to travel that far will travel that far anyway. But you get the ones who are, I'm not going all that way. Yeah, but I'll pay £8.
Of course, it sounds like there's a big contingent of Panthers fans going up this weekend. I think I've heard 300-400 quoted. Apparently a couple of coach loads, and then people travelling independently as well. So should be a good boost for the team. Yeah,
and I think the way the fixtures work out, and obviously they have. That's what I can remember in pre-season. I think it was Gary was talking about how that's what Corey wants. To have a weekend where you can go away. And why not? It's a nice weekend away for you, and you get to take in 3 games of hockey if you can get the Friday, off work, and that's what I think the players appreciate that as well. The fact that so many fans are willing to spend that money to go up there, hotel rooms, a few shandies, and
a few, more than a few,
and to actually talking of shandy, it's your round. But no, it's a good weekend for the fans to go away. That's why you've got tables there to hide it.
Well, stupid. Well, I will be up there on over the weekend. I will have the camera. I will have the camera with me, so we may be looking for a few comments from the fans while we're up there for all 3 games. Well, that's it. Once again,
Scottish pubs and wine tables.
Yeah.
Jono's back.
We'll be back.
We'll have to get that on next week. That'll be the opening next week.
Over my dead body. Anyway,
I think Mike Bassett, England manager.
I think we'll leave it there. If I see you in Scotland, I'll see you in Scotland. But we will be back. But we will be back reviewing all the action next week. Until then, goodbye. Someone's got a message for you. Yeah, watch that.
Hi to the students, I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah.
As I expected.